What's good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me, as always. We're back on the mic. We got a couple things to talk about. The two main points. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Is this starting to become a bigger – it's starting to bubble up here for the gambling community. Those gambling dollars are starting to bleed in to integrity. Some of the biggest superstars in the world's names are starting to come up, like Shohei Ohtani. We know what happened with Jonte Porter and the Raptors here, allegedly. So we're going to talk through all the gambling stuff and give our thoughts on the industry and it bleeding into potentially fixed situations across the board. Also, is the NBA in March meaningless? Do these games matter? Does it matter that Boston blows a 30-point lead on the road in Atlanta? Does it matter that the Bucks blow a 19-point lead with 8.5 left in the fourth quarter versus a LeBron-less Lakers? Or is it just like, yeah, let's get to the playoffs? Does it matter that I know Golden State won last night, but they going into the game, they were 4-7 in their last 11. That takes them to 5-7. They're limping into the playoffs. Does any of this matter, or are folks just trying to get to the playoffs? No Catch-Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We'll break it all down right now. Let's get to it.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's good?
How we feeling?
Man, you already know. I heard right before we hopped on, you had some personal news you wanted to just talk about. You was feeling good, feeling great.
Oh man, it's just a little solo vacation at the house, man. The wife and the daughter in Florida. I decided to stay back. If you guys know, I mean, you really probably don't know because we've recorded like one time in the past 3 months. But yeah, part of the reason why is between the two of us, our schedule is crazy. I think I've been in a hotel every week since the beginning of January. So the thought of, even though it would have been a vacation, the thought of another few days sleeping in somebody else's place just wasn't too appealing to me. So I stayed back, got the house to myself. Gonna kick my feet up tomorrow, watch some of this college basketball. It's nice, man. It's a little staycation.
No, you about to be
mental health. Hey, mental health days, to quote Ben Simmons. That's what I'm doing right now. You know?
Big Nick the Quick at the crib, no children, no lady. They're relaxing. He relaxing.
No work. Took off work.
Off work, man. Big dog chilling, man.
Might turn the phone off.
What you gonna order for food and all that?
Man, that's what I'm trying to decide.
That's your biggest decision.
I might make some tacos tonight. You know what I'm saying?
No, don't make nothing, bro.
No, I'm gonna make some tacos tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is straight tournament. So we'll see what's going on.
Gee, I'm not lifting a finger, bro. I'm ordering all day.
I also eat out, but I'm saying I'm on the road every single day. I eat out heavy. So I don't mind making a home cooked meal here and there.
Okay, you know fair. Say less.
Either way, hey, listen. Either way, there's no pressure.
That's the
most important thing.
Yo, you can eat a bag of chips if you want.
I could eat a goldfish right now. There's no pressure because that's my decision. That's the most beautiful thing about it. Hey, no pressure.
No doubt.
Take care of your mentals and take care of your, what did he say?
Take care of your chicken, take care of your mentals.
Absolutely.
Shout out Beast Mode.
Yeah.
All right, couple things on my end on a housekeeping note. Look, bro, I think the coffee I've been drinking is too strong, dog. Like I gotta chill. I think like I've been finishing. And first of all, I just tried this new joint. I'm an espresso dude. I just tried like
Nespresso?
The number. Yeah, an espresso dude. It's easy. I think it makes a really good cup of coffee. I did the pour over shit and all that shit for a little bit, and it was like, this is good.
Pour over's a lot of work.
Yeah, bro. For the aggravation and everything I had to do to get it to just be solid, it wasn't for me, right? So I started rocking with an espresso. Makes a phenomenal cup, and it's super easy, and it's relatively cheap. So anyway, I started rocking with the 9, the number. So it goes up to 10 for like intensity. Bro, I started rocking with the 9. I think I gotta throw those in the garbage, bro. I've been finishing, bro. My eyes have been watering. I've been finishing my coffee. My eyes have been watering, and I'm on 10. You know what I'm saying? Like this is yes, bro. Like this is too much. I gotta relax here. So I even just had a half cup today, this morning. And I was like,
it's still on tilt.
Well, it's one of those things where like I finished half and I was like, bro, if I finish the rest of this, it's a wrap. Well, this is the other thing too. I usually don't eat till I'm an intermittent faster, so I usually don't eat till like 12:31. So I'll get up, have coffee.
Oh boy, intermittent faster over here. This guy's he's a real New York media guy.
Bro.
He's a real New York media guy. No. I'm an intermittent faster.
No, what I'm saying. What up?
Hey, get this guy back in the city ASAP.
Wow, G. What I'm getting at is I'm drinking this caffeine.
Erewhon.
What I'm getting at is I'm drinking this caffeine on an empty stomach. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that is the problem. That might be part of it.
Hey, everybody's been rocking with us for a minute. Please don't let intermittent faster comment go by. Nothing wrong with intermittent fasting, but the man referred to himself as an intermittent faster. We're just gonna go ahead and let
I knew I should have just said I don't usually eat till like 1.
Yeah,
that's what I should have said.
I should have left it there. Yeah, that was a softball. Lob that up. Yeah, listen. I mean, for me, as like a big coffee guy, that sounds amazing. I drink a half a pot a day, but that's just not for the faint-hearted, especially if you're not eating, because you'll start getting the jitters and all that. I feel that. I can't let us get into sports without sharing one story real quick.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to share this story. So my daughter plays volleyball. She's been out the whole year. Yeah, she's been out the whole year. She broke her ankle in December. So it was her first tournament back this weekend. It was in St. Louis. So the St. Louis tournament, the Rams' old stadium, greatest show on turf, they converted into a convention center. So part of it is the stadium. Like when you'll play in there, like you look up, I mean, it's a full-on, the full-on stadium. The rest of it's a convention center, whatever. They set up a bunch of courts. It's a spectacle. Sean said he's going to try to make it out to one. I'd recommend it. It's a lot of fun, but there's literally like 120 courts of volleyball going on all at once. Usually age groups between 13 to 18, whatever, right? So I'm walking through. If you saw me on Instagram, I posted the picture. And like I said, I normally wouldn't do this, but the circumstances were just so crazy. I felt I had to. I'm walking through the hallway, in between a couple of her games or whatever. And we're going to go get something to eat. And I'm walking through the hallway, and there's, again, tons of people, right? Just tons of people, parents, grandparents, whatever. And I see this black dude sitting on the couch or sitting on like a bench with like this older white woman, and he's just sitting there talking to her. And I look at him, and I'm like, is that John Jones? And like I said it out loud, right? I did like a double take, and it's the first thing that came to mind. I go, is that John Jones?
Yeah.
He looks back at me. He goes, yep. And so I keep walking. And I'm like,
what a terrible first impression, by the way.
Listen.
Horrific.
Yeah. Who? For me or
for you? Yes.
Why?
Because you clearly know it's John Jones.
I mean, but not really. I wasn't. Listen,
so the famous person who this always happens to.
Listen,
hey, is that John Jones?
No, listen.
And then,
listen.
Yeah, it's a terrible first
here's
impression.
The thing. The way he reacted, it was like it hadn't been happening to him that day, and he was excited that somebody did some. Let me tell the fucking story. Jesus. Oh, yeah. It was more just like random to see of all people. I would expect to see a lot of people there. You do see a lot of people there. John Jones just out in the wild was kind of random. Anyways, go back up. You'll take a picture. And it's me and this other dude I'm with. And after we take the picture, John Jones walks back up to the group, looks at me and the other dude and goes, we're the 3 best friends that anybody could have.
Is the other dude black too?
No, he's white.
Okay.
He just starts
2 for 3.
He just starts singing that and then goes and sits back down.
Yeah, that sounds like John Jones.
I didn't really know what to say. Like, I didn't really know whether to laugh or not. Because the whole point of the story is this, right? Like, I know I'm not, you obviously are around a ton of people. I've been around my fair share of people. First off, never really starstruck, never really have a reaction. It's always cool, but like, whatever, right? For some reason, seeing this dude in person, I'm not going to lie to you, by far the most terrifying individual I've ever been around in my entire life. Dog, like, so when I was like, yo, is that John Jones? The fact that he looked at me and goes, yep. Like, it wasn't like I was really trying to say it to him. I was just kind of saying it. And just the look in his eyes and his whole aura, dog, that guy's legitimately terrifying, man. I'm going to go ahead and just put that out there. Like, actually.
Sinister look.
Sinister. You saw, like, he looked crazy. Like, he was nice. Like, couldn't be a nicer guy. Like, took the picture, was happy. Like, probably would have sat there and talked to us if we wanted to, right?
Right.
But like when he walked up, I was like, we're the three best. I was like, this guy is fucking out of his mind. Like,
Yeah.
he legitimately, like his aura, the shit.
He could.
The shit
It
was
seems
real.
like he's a dude that could just flip pretty quickly.
That
like,
and in the back of my head, I knew that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like most of these people, celebrities, are probably like, get this fucking person away from me. It's almost like he's like, I wish somebody fucking would. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that was the story. It wasn't necessarily about is this John Jones? It was about the fact that dude was legitimately terrifying. Yeah,
he seemed like he was not. You know what I'm saying?
He was nice, bro. Nice dude. Regular dude.
Weak ass zip up on him, but other than that,
whatever. It's not Adidas. Yeah. But anyways, just random as fuck. I'm assuming one of his daughters played volleyball, and that was his mother-in-law that he was chilling with. But shout out John Jones, man, heavyweight champ of the world, baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, baddest man on the planet. There's no doubt about that. There's one dude you don't want to fuck with.
It was there. You felt it.
If you want to see the picture, come watch it on YouTube. Links in the description. I got it up there for everybody to see. Shout out John Jones for being a cool, hospitable
guy. Nice guy.
All right. Oh, last housekeeping. Hey, man, everybody out there, you need to have a house fit. I just started getting this house fit off. I got like this pullover. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a cotton overshirt that I've been having coffee in with my I go put like I got like a pair of pajama pants that I put on. Look, comfortable, bro. Go get an overshirt, get a fit off in the crib, man. Some house shoes. It's your coffee tastes better. All right, let's get into it. 1-800 gambling problem. Do people need to call the number? Big Nick the Quick sent me a tweet that laid out the last 3 weeks in the sports betting community. Don't forget, Temple UAB college basketball game flag for unusual betting activity. Rudy Gobert makes the money sign towards the ref and says, I know betting and all that is becoming bigger and bigger, but it shouldn't feel that way. That dude is. Let me relax.
The COVID started.
Then Shohei Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, is it Ipe? Ipe Mizuhara fired for
whatever his name is. You will never see him again.
To a legal bookmaker and stealing Ohtani's money for gambling. NBA investigation is the final one, the big one. Jonte Porter for betting irregularities involved in his props, where he exited a few games suspiciously. Let's call it that. That ties along with the betting activity. Listen,
if you want to go back further, you can go to Calvin Ridley a couple of years ago, and you can also go to the Alabama head baseball coach last year who pulled his own pitcher and then bet against his team in the first six.
There's a couple other NFL guys that got caught up. I mean,
those guys on the Lions.
Yep, there's been a few cases here when it comes to the gambling thing. I'll come right to you, Big Nick the Quick, because we had a little conversation yesterday, and I'm on the side of, listen, I've been gambling. I'm 35 years old. I've been sports betting probably since I was 18 years old. I guess illegally, I guess it was illegal at the time.
It was legal in the country that the bets were being placed in.
Yeah. But we had it all, Nick. The offshore book, the bookies, whatever was necessary to get plays in. This has always been a big part of my life. So, like, for it to come to the forefront and mix with media, which I love to do, has been a very fortunate occurrence for me. But I'm in the camp that if we are constantly talking about integrity of props, games, etc., it doesn't matter the money that's being brought in, which is a big dollar number to these leagues. They're gonna start to veer away from those dollars and try to find the dollars somewhere else. I thought Kalishaw made an interesting point that maybe potentially player props could be something that are just taken off the board. Maybe that is a middle ground. But Big Nick the Quick, what do you think about the overarching issues here that are coming up seemingly weekly? And then we'll get into Jonte and then Shohei and talk about the details in those specific cases.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that issues are going to happen. I think, first off, when it was a shadow situation, right? Prior to sports betting becoming legal in the amount of states that it's legal in, you still had instances of this. You can go back to the Black Sox and what was that, 1919, right? And you can go through
the Arizona State
scandal.
Donahue.
You can watch the movie Blue Chips when my man Tony was shaving points. Like, it's just been prevalent in sports for a while. Shout out Blue Chip. Shout out Nick Nolte.
Shout out. Real quick.
Great flick.
Really quick. Probably the most underrated basketball movie
without a doubt
of all time is Blue Chip.
Friend of the program.
If you have not seen Blue Chip,
it's
go
relevant.
Watch Blue Chip ASAP.
Blue Chips, yeah.
Actually, matter of fact, if I see Shaq here coming up, I think we might have some cross up because I'm in Atlanta next week to do a bunch of stuff for TNT. If I have cross up with the big fella, I'm going to tell him that is the most underrated film of all time, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, one of the best movies ever. But my point being that it's always been prevalent, right? So it doesn't surprise me that once it comes to the forefront, and it's not slowly come to the forefront, it is all in your face every single place you look. As I'm watching the game last night, it's on the FanDuel court. As you go to the commercial, DraftKings is sponsoring this. ESPN, every segment is sponsored by ESPN Bet, Sports Center, whatever, right? I mean, prior to that, you had guys like Van Pelt who were always talking about it. You had guys like Musburger who would always allude to it, right? But now it's fully covered. So it doesn't surprise me that you have people doing, let's call it what it is, stupid shit, right? Like the Ohtani, things like that might be a little bit more sinister. I think the Jonte shit and, Ridley and all that, a lot of it's just stupid shit. So it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that there is a sinister element to it as well, right? There's a lot of money out there to be had. So I'm not like shocked that this is happening. I don't think it's going to be the end of sports gambling as far as we know it. And these leagues' involvement with it. I think there is too much money. I think these leagues are always going to go to the new thing that's well-funded, right? A couple of years ago, it was crypto. Now it's sports gambling. It seems like that money is here to stay. So I don't think we're going to all of a sudden see them be like, oh, we're backing away from this. I just think you'll see tighter regulation. I said this the other day in the group chat. I think it'll look like the liquor business, right? You'll have a few people who are allowed to profit off of this as far as the companies, but it'll be regulated. Maybe it goes to federal regulation. Maybe the league starts some sort of committee, whatever it might be, it gets regulated, but it's not going anywhere. I think the people who are going to get in trouble for it, like Jonte Porter, they will be made examples of. Just like Ridley was made an example of, just like these Lions staffers were made an example of. I think if you're Adam Silver, you are hammered. Number one, because he's Jonte Porter and no one's going to miss him. Yeah. Number two, you just hammer the shit out of him. 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. The hardest, whatever the max you can give, you give that. And the best you can do is try to make an example of them. But I don't think all of a sudden you're going to see the logos on the court change or anything like that, because these guys, they lay out what the policies are. If you look at that Lions situation, they didn't get suspended for gambling on Lions or even gambling on the NFL. They got suspended for gambling on team property. Right?
Yes,
gambling
it was like
on the
they
plane,
had like placed
in the facility, in the
hotel.
They
placed like a basketball future on
in a hotel or some shit
after the practice, like in the cafeteria at practice.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it on team business. Which again, those are the rules. You got to adhere to those, and you get hammered for it. So maybe you'll see stiffer punishments. Maybe you'll see more guys being made an example of. I don't think they're going to touch Ohtani, because we can get into that. But everybody else, if you're baseball, Shohei needs to play. And it needs to play in Los Angeles. Listen, okay? This is like Jordan. This is like Jordan 94. It's not happening. But so I think you'll just see more regulation, but it's not the end. It's not over with, man. This is where we're at. There's too much. You just said it. It's beyond just the dollars that are coming in. It's an entire industry. I can't watch a fucking Knicks game without seeing you every 10 minutes because of this industry. So, like, let's be honest. Like, that's how deep we are in it, right? And that goes to regional networks like MSG all the way up to the top of ESPN. Disney owns a sports book. So this is where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want the dollar, you want the dollars, you want the sports gambling dollars, then you're going to have to deal with sports gambling being in your face. And this is America. This is pure capitalism. Yep. They're going to do everything in their power to get you on their platform and playing. That's it. there are regulations, there are things in place to try to. I think the biggest thing here is the integrity of everything. So there are things in place. For example, the reason we know about Jonte Porter is because they have irregular activities with the league partner books that can just flag things that seem a little unusual. And Jonte Porter getting a bunch of attention on unders and then removing himself from games for like essentially injuries that no one saw on the court is pretty easy to pick out. Now, to talk about the Jonte piece, if we're keeping it all the way a bean, this is a dream initial situation for Adam Silver. Jonte Porter can get a lifetime ban. No one would bat an eye, and then we would keep it moving. So whatever he ends up coming down with is not that big of a deal because he's not a prominent player. That John Morant story was massive because John Morant was an all-NBA guy. He's an all-star guy.
A marquee guy.
Marquee marketing power, new kicks. Everything about John Morant was massive. That's why that story was massive. Jonte Porter is perfect example maker for Adam Silver. He can give him a lifetime ban and make an example out of him. And deservedly so, by the way.
Yes.
Like, let's be clear about that. Deservedly so. I'm not just saying, hey, ban Jonte because 100% whatever.
Should never play in the NBA again.
It would be a lot more. This would be a much bigger story if this was
Michael Porter.
Yeah, exactly. Or exactly.
Or God forbid an all NBA player and all-star. Even if it was Michael Porter, right? Like it would be a bigger thing because you're talking prominent players. You're 100% right. It's a dream scenario for Silver to literally I was going to use a bad analogy, but literally just make a prime example of this guy. And also to your point, like to also prove if you do this, which you and I know, you will get caught. You would have got caught cheating the casino. You're going to get caught cheating the online sportsbook in the year 2024 when data and trends and all that it was easy for them to see that.
Yeah, I sent out a tweet. It's almost like these dudes are trying to get caught.
Yes.
You're wiring
geotagged.
You're wiring millions of dollars out of Shohei Ohtani's account, personal account, it seems, to an illegal bookmaker account. That's number one. Number two, you have people on multiple different accounts trying to place $10,000, $20,000 player prop unders on Jonte Porter. So big that when it did come in, they were the biggest winner on the entire prop sheet.
The entire prop sheet.
When there's millions of dollars rolling through the prop sheet every single night. So for Jonte Porter unders to be the biggest win is a big number. So very easy for flags to be going off and bells to be ringing, right? So yeah, I don't really, it's just pure stupidity on a lot of these guys' part. But overall, Jonte should be made an example of if he was doing what is allegedly what allegedly was being done. So, and it's an easy way, and it's easy for Jonte Porter to get banished, never heard from again, and
easy for him to disappear.
To let people know this is not a game. Like the harsh penalties work. Yeah. That steroid shit, you get caught half the season first time off top. We're not asking no questions, none of that.
You're done.
81.
Yep.
Oh, full year. Like, so if we're talking about stuff like that, hey.
You leave the bench in an NBA game, bye, you're done.
If you get caught betting on your own props and fixing props, lifetime ban.
Yeah, and that's more than just betting against some shit you might know, or like I feel like such and such is gonna have a bad game. That's yourself. You are in direct control of that. Absolutely. And I think you hit on something earlier that's key on it too. The difference from when we were doing it, prior to it being all over the place, was props, especially as deep as the prop market goes, is a relatively new product. There's PRAs, there's every. I mean, you can go deep, deep into the prop market. Thousands of props out there. And yeah, that shit can be easily manipulated by someone like Jonte Porter, who can have an effect on his under, right? Because no one's relying on him anyways. So yeah, I think you hammer him as hard as you can. He never wears an NBA uniform ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, you hammer him, you blacklist him type shit. Hey, you want to go to Europe? No, we got contacts over there. Just to ensure that you don't fall into this type of scandal with one of your big time players, because that would be an absolute nightmare.
No, another thing too, especially like I had this conversation that was really interesting recently. I'm not going to put any names out in the street, but we were talking about hockey and the difference between, like, for example, it's pretty black and white on a lot of these props. Maybe not even sometimes on like assist props or like rebound props for NBA, but like threes, clean cut. In hockey, you can bet on shots
on goal,
and like saves.
Yeah.
And like the people that are
you could really
let me tell you something. The people that are deciding, similar to baseball and like errors versus hits, but there's so much minutia in the hockey stuff where like a shot on goal or a save, it's like, yo, that shot was 3-4 feet wide. But like the guys that are confirming this, typically older dudes, guys that are plugged in, home cooking, all that stuff is out there and potentially happening. So the entry level to fixing, you know what it is, Nick? The entry level to fixing is so low now.
It's low.
Like back in the day,
yeah.
If I wanted to like fix a fucking basketball game,
you had to shave points,
dude. Well, and I had to be in contact and have a lot of money. Like you could probably buy someone at a low-level college hockey game for the low, right? Yeah. And then figure out how you got to go from there. So the barrier to fixing is very low. That's, I think, why this potentially could be a big problem breaking out. All right, let's close the gambling piece on Shohei Ohtani because this is a very...
Does your interpreter have access to your funds to where he can wire out $4.5 million?
Now, listen. I understand his super close homie having access to his bank account and all that.
Why?
I guess.
Really? You do?
Yeah, I do believe that because if you apparently don't speak English and you come over from Japan and you don't have any money.
Just because you don't speak English doesn't make you
don't have any homies. And by the way, word on the street is his English is a lot better than you think.
Yeah, I think folks speaks a lot of English, by the way.
That's just what I've heard.
He's been traveling across American cities now for 5 or 6 years. He speaks English.
That's word on the street is his English is
he understands $4.5 million. I'll guarantee you that right now.
His English is a little his English is a little better than we're being led on to believe. So there's that aspect, but I believe, well, dude, because how many times
you remember Manny Ramirez tried to say he didn't speak English?
Yeah, dude.
He's from Brooklyn.
Shout out Manny, man. That's my dog. I fucking love Manny Ramirez. Fucking one of my favorite.
Speak English.
One of my favorite athletes.
Manny, you grew up in the Bronx.
Manny. So because over the years, how many guys have gotten defrauded where it's like, how is that possible? But it's happened over the years so much that.
But usually it's by a financial investor that has power of attorney, not by your interpreter.
Sure. But, that's – well, dude, think about how many friends have gotten other friends and stuff like that. I mean, it happens all the time. It's happened all the time over the years. It doesn't shock me that he had access to the funds. Now, as a sports bettor myself and have dealt and a guy that has dealt with decent figures with sports bookies throughout the years – Maybe he could have lied and said, "Hey, Shohei's backing me here, so we can run up a $4.5 million tab because this, that, and the third, right?" But I still don't think it adds up. Just my personal gut feeling that Shohei had no idea, had nothing to do with it, and was covering off. Because put it like this: what about? Because, Nick, the timeline of this, too, is wasn't he robbed, found out, or did he find out when the public found out about it? I think that's a question mark as well. When did he realize that his interpreter had stolen the money from him? Was it when we all found out, or did he know and not contact authorities? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered here.
If I go to Las Vegas and pull out $100 out of an ATM, 5 minutes later, I get a call from my bank.
You're not Shohei, though.
If $4.5 million is being wired through my account, chances are
chunk payments.
Chances are I know about it. Is my point.
Yeah, I mean,
so I never. It doesn't add up.
Listen, bro,
it doesn't add up.
Listen, I'm not affiliated with the MLB, so I can kind of talk here a little more freely than other things. It clearly doesn't add up. I think he knows or knew a lot more than is being led on, because right now he came out in the presser and said, I didn't know anything. He robbed me blind, and that's the end of it, and I fired him. I don't believe that. That's not true. Now, let me ask you this, Nick. If me and you are very close, if I was the confidant like everyone else is saying, would I try to steal from you, or would I say, yo, Shohei, I am in a terrible situation right now?
Yes.
What can you help me here with this, and this? Or what can we do for this, and this? That seems more likely to me than being able to access his account and wire out that much money directly to whoever needs to have it. I think this story, I think there's a lot more coming out on this story. But last thing, Nick, I actually thought about it similarly to what happened with Josh Giddey. If you get everyone involved to be on the same page and not say anything, the authorities can't do anything. Josh Giddey clearly, and that family that he was dealing with, I don't know the details on how old she was or whatever, but the family would not cooperate with the investigation. Josh Giddey, essentially pleaded the fifth his way out of the media, didn't address anything, and said, hey, I'm not talking about that. It's under investigation. The investigation happened. They can't get the family to comment. They're not cooperating. The case is dead, stale, done. So if Shohei says, my interpreter ripped me off, and the interpreter says, hey, I did, I'm sorry, that's an issue. Because then he's potentially going to see the jail time, whatever. Now, it'll be interesting, because doesn't Shohei have to press charges on this dude as well?
Well, so yeah, I mean, you would think so. Yeah, that's a crime. If it happened in the United States of America, that's a crime, isn't it? I don't think he has to. I think the evidence of a crime is clear.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing though. What bookie is extending that line of credit to him without knowing that Shohei is backing it for him? Listen, man, that's a hell of a marker to run up without any collateral. And the collateral is Shohei's bankrolling this for me. That's the first thing that stuck out to me.
I mean, he could lie. He could lie and say that, though.
Yeah, to the tune of $4.5 million.
Yeah, I can see that.
Come on.
Yes.
Bruno Mars can run up a $50 million tab because you have him by the ball.
I don't think that was true, by the way. I never believed that.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of. I've never heard of markers. I've never heard of anything that large before. But because remember, like when the big thing was like Antoine Walker had like $500-600 grand, and that was a large number. 50 million is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane amount of money. It's like, here you go. Yeah, the juice is running on 50 million. Like, stop it. So that's how I feel about the 4.5, though. That's a lot. So
there's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions as to how he was able to get that deep.
Where is Buddy, by the way?
In Japan.
He's already back?
What? Folks will never be stateside again.
Does Japan got extradition?
Hey, listen, bro.
Look that up for me.
You'll see Putin stateside before you see my man. Folks is never coming back. The second he's somewhere. He's with Diddy. He never see his ass again. Fuck out of here. You'll never see that man again. What?
Yeah, never to be seen and
Hey,
heard from again.
What? No extradition at all. He's
Is it?
somewhere, wherever
Will
he
you
is.
look that up?
No, I think you can extradite Japan, but
Yeah.
he's not in Japan. He's in some island off Japan with no treaty.
So yeah, man.
You will never see him again.
I think the final to cap it, I think a lot of things aren't adding up here on that Shohei thing. We'll see what shakes on that side. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks surrounding that. Do I believe he could have not known? Sure. But hey man, there's a lot of
$4.5 million is a lot.
$4.5 million is a lot of money, man. To move around,
to not know.
Move around via wires and not know anything about it. That's
your
a
point. He
question.
probably could, if he had trust him enough to give him access to the bank account, he probably could have asked him for the money.
And on top of that, there's so many questions on when did he find out about it? Did he press charges? Because technically, right, if I find out about it, it didn't seem like anything happened or no one got fired or nothing happened until it came out in the public, from my understanding. That's also the question mark as well.
Baseball's trying to bury this one the best they can.
Yeah, they need Shohei and the boys to have their story locked up.
Our sport already sucks. We can't have our best player fucking get in trouble.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave that there.
Opening day, shout out baseball.
Yeah, no, tomorrow, Thursday.
Are you locked in?
A little bit, man. I got to be for work, so I'm gonna be a little locked in. Hey, man. I gave out.
You're gonna be on the yes. You're gonna be on the yes next week.
I'll give y'all some quick plays. Trey Turner 30 and 30 plus 400 is my favorite preseason prop coming in. He had
30 home runs, 30 steals.
30 home runs, 30 steals. Bro, listen to this number, Nick. In 2020, there was just under 900 stolen bases, like 880 or something. Last year, with the new changes and the bigger bases and the pitch clock, 3,500 combined stolen bases in the NL and AL from 800 3 years ago, like 880 3 years ago.
Would have had a field day.
What? Ricky Henderson might have had 250 steals.
Hey, I don't know what team
Trey Turner
plays for, but that's a good
Phillies.
Play. Here we go.
Shout out Trey Turner.
Bryce Harper's on the Phillies. No, he's on the Nationals, right? Or is he on the Phillies? Bryce Harper's
he's on the Phillies.
They won the World Series last year?
No, Texas. The Rangers won the World Series last year. Yeah, you know, man. I'm not locked. Let's move on. I'm not locked in at all either. But I know that.
No, I'm unlocked.
Okay, let's move over to the NBA. We just gave it off a couple jokes, a little quick 37 minutes on the gambling situation. But to cap the gambling situation, it needs to be regulated. Everything needs to be covered off of, because the integrity of the game is number one and paramount, because if that starts to wane, everything else wanes and falls pretty quickly. All right.
I think you're right on the prop market. The prop market will definitely see some
changes potentially. Yeah. Because unless
you can't take props where you are, right? Isn't New York a no props?
No, you get no futures that can be voted on.
Is it too many media members there that vote on awards?
It's the shit's too shaky. The ground's too shaky.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you got a kid that lives in Brooklyn that writes for whoever, and he's voting for MVP. And it's like, yeah, that dude, that vote might be able to get shifted. You know what I'm saying? New York knows that. Yeah. But I want to be clear. Let's cap it on this real quick. The DeJounte Porter and Shohei are two different things.
Two different guys.
Shohei potentially knowing that his interpreter is betting on football, almost I don't even care about. Who cares about that? Now, if he was betting on baseball, different story. But if Shohei's interpreter is betting the Bears on Sunday for $5 million, I could care less. Who cares? But what DeJounte Porter did is a completely different situation with betting on himself and games of that magnitude. So stay tuned what happens with both of those situations. All right. Big Nick the Quick. Let's do a little 20-25 on the NBA. My question to you, Big Nick the Quick. Do NBA games in March matter? My guy Matt Moore at the Action Network shouted out, said these games flat out don't matter. When Boston lost by 30 the other night, was Was I disappointed to see the late game execution? Sure, because that's the biggest question surrounding the Boston Celtics. But them losing the game is meaningless. They're still going to win 65 games. They're still unbelievable on a night-to-night basis. Coming into that game, they were 14-3 against the spread in their last 17, but winning by an average of 14.3 points per game. They were mashing people. So they were up 30. They took their foot off the gas and lost on the road in Atlanta without Derek White, who's probably their most pivotal player when it comes to crunch time. Big Nick the Quick. Then last night, we saw the Lakers come back down 19 to the Bucks in the fourth quarter with 8.5 left. Do these games in March matter at all?
You got to define matter. Like, am I like to your point with that Boston? I think the Boston collapse a few weeks ago told me more than the Boston collapse a couple days ago. Who was the game a few weeks ago that we talked about after it happened? I forget who they played, but that one to me was told me a little bit more just wouldn't happen. But no, not really, especially for a team like the Boston Celtics at this point in the season. You've done everything that you need to do. You should just be more concerned these last 10 games with just getting to the playoffs healthy. I think for other teams it does matter, right? Like we were watching Pelicans and
Thunder.
Pelicans and Thunder last night, right? And you could tell from the atmosphere in that game and the way that it was played. For teams like that, these games absolutely matter, right? For teams that are still jockeying for position, for teams that understand that they need to go into the playoffs hot and have a ton of momentum, that matters. But as far as shaping a narrative for some of your better teams, no, not really. I think most of these teams at this point, your top 3, top 4 teams, really your top 2 teams, they're just trying to get into the playoffs healthy, get that all figured out and get ready for the second season. But I do think for some of your teams that are more in that middle of the pack, especially now with the play-in, like you can't sit here and tell me these games don't matter to the Warriors, even though Steve Kerr told you he's not going to play Steph Curry 40 minutes a game. Like that matters, right? Like you want to get into a better position. If you're the Warriors, if you're the Lakers, if you're teams like that, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you got to see Denver early or whoever. So I think that it does matter from a positioning. We saw it last year with the Heat. Like, yeah, it matters for sure. You don't want to find yourself in that situation where you're one and done. So, yeah, I think it matters to an extent, but I'm not going to sit over here and tell you that I'm ringing alarms for the Boston Celtics based off the other night. Their season's wrapped up. Their season wrapped up a couple weeks ago.
I agree. I think it doesn't matter for very specifically the Milwaukee Bucks and more specifically the Boston Celtics. I don't care if they lose the next 5 games in a row by 40. It doesn't matter to me. It's not going to happen, but it wouldn't matter to me. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
To just put it plainly, my second biggest bet of the year is on the Celtics to win the East. I got it at -110. I finally fired it. I had been waiting. I finally fired on Boston Celtics to win the East at -110. Now, I think they're going to win the East. I'm not worried about Milwaukee like a lot of other people are. I'm very confident in the Boston Celtics getting to the finals. Now, it does matter for teams like you laid out, the Thunder or Denver, because plainly they matter in the standings. Thunder are still trying to pick up that number 1 seed in the West. The Nuggets are trying to hold on to it. That would be huge for them. If the Thunder can get the 1 and have home court advantage, their outlook in the playoffs looks a lot different.
I've been to that building before. It's a great place to watch a basketball game. The fans love it. They get hyped up. Like they have a clear home court advantage.
Yeah, dude, Boston's 11 games clear of Milwaukee.
Yeah, like, Boston's not worried about anything right now. They're done.
So Milwaukee still is only 2 games back of Cleveland. The Knicks are a half game back. If the Knicks can pick up the 3 seed,
massive.
It would be huge, because then you could avoid the 1 as well. You can get Milwaukee potentially in the second round instead of the Boston Celtics in that 1-4 matchup. So the Knicks getting the 3 would be massive.
That's what put them up against the Pacers.
Yeah, it'd be like whoever's in the 6. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, bro.
Pacers are limping into the playoffs. Halliburton can't hit the side of a barn.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You do not want to play the Orlando Magic in the 4-5.
That's a scary team.
That would be a really rough go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Orlando's good. They don't have the experience. I wouldn't worry about New York against Orlando. I thought Orlando's wouldn't be a fun team to play because they play carefree and they play like they got none to lose. But the Knicks would handle them. Tom Thibodeau would out execute them for 5 games. It'd be a tough 5.
This is going to be a hot take.
Tough 5.
This is going to be a very hot take, actually. I'd much rather play the Miami Heat right now than the Orlando Magic, especially if you have to go to Orlando and play on the road. I think Miami is out of gas. I understand what they did last year was an unbelievable miracle run. I think that shit's quiet this year. I might
about the coaching.
Spoelstra and the gang might spit in my face once again, and I'm one of the biggest Jimmy Butler fans you've seen. But in a 7-game series right now, the way Orlando is playing, I don't want anything to do with those boys. They have been sensational.
I think the Knicks handle both teams handily.
Man, dude, I know you haven't been watching Knicks like me, just like I've been watching some other teams like you have. The Knicks have had trouble with Orlando all year. Orlando has given them
issues. Is OG 100%?
No, clearly not. He's not playing. He's trying to get back. He stopped back for a second.
You need him. So when we talk about these last games mattering, you need him to get a few games under his belt going into the playoffs. So
Julius.
He's as close to 100.
Well.
What's Julius's deal?
TBD.
When's he been out? He's been out for a minute,
He's
right?
been out for a minute, bro.
He's been out since like January, hasn't he?
Yeah, Julius. Yeah, I mean, we're starting to run out of games.
Yeah, there is some shaky shit with the Knicks as far as injuries. I guess. Yeah,
January 27th.
It's a lot of Brunson. You need some Brunson superhero shit in the playoffs. So maybe you're right. Maybe playing a healthy Orlando team is a scary proposition.
Yeah, they're so deep. They got tons of guards.
They just don't have the play. I worry about the lack of playoff experience, and I worry about the coaching. But Mosley's done a good job.
Yeah, no doubt. 7-game series are different animals, but
it's a different situation where you can adjust from night to night, especially with a guy like Tibbs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to the West. Give me your 2 out from Dallas, Sacramento, Phoenix, the Lakers, and the Warriors.
Yeah, I think the Warriors are out.
Yeah,
I think the Warriors are out. It's the Warriors and it's probably the Warriors and the Lakers. I don't know. The Lakers have been playing well. The Warriors. It's so hard to say that Phoenix is going to be out, but they're so unimpressive to me. Like they're not fun to watch. You don't know who's playing from night to night. It doesn't look right.
That's how I feel about Phoenix as well. It's like
that's why I said
doesn't look right. Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It doesn't look right. I'll go with Golden State and Phoenix.
Wow. How big of a catastrophe would that be if Phoenix didn't make it? Do they just come back the next year and reload it?
Yeah, I feel like so much has happened in the league that they've just kind of skated under the radar as far as getting the appropriate coverage for how much of a disaster it's been. But yeah, I think that if they get knocked out in the first round, you need to find a way to get off of Bradley Beal, who you never should have acquired in the first place. That those Bradley Beal resources and assets and financial whatever obligations could have went to actually building out a roster. Like Book and Durant was enough. Right? Like, go get a fucking point guard. Go get a competent big man.
They were strapped up, though, financially.
Go get a competent big man. Go get some wing defenders. Go get some shooters. Go get some guys who can relieve pressure from night to night. Like, you don't need this big three of a guy who hasn't played meaningful basketball in years. So, yeah, I think it would be a disaster for sure. But, you know, they figure out a way to reload.
All right, I'm going to go with...
It's just an awkward situation, too. It's a weird situation.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Sacramento Kings, and I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. I bet on the Kings not making the playoffs earlier, plus 260, maybe 2.5 weeks ago for a little nibble, nothing crazy.
Not making the playoffs. So I don't think they get that top 6. And then if we get into the play-in, by the way, if you're in the Golden State make it to the play-in, or are we worried about the 9 straight wins that the Houston Rockets have rattled off?
Yeah,
under really good coaching from Udoka, and that team's been good all year. They start off the year really good, cooled off during the cool-off period, and are now finishing the season the way you want to. And we know he's a really good coach. Like you want to talk about a team who it matters for? he's got them locked in to finish the season over these last 10 games.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know who they're playing, but if they're playing a whole bunch of teams that got shit locked up, if I'm the Warriors,
I think the
worried
Warriors end up holding on. But Jalen Green has been going absolutely ballistic on offense.
Bananas.
He said he's got new motivation. His lady is pregnant.
Yeah.
Dre Michelle. So that's why he's
first team all finesse.
Yeah, first teamer, all NBA.
Jalen Green is only 22.
Yeah. Oh man,
crazy. Just turned 22 in February.
People were talking about moving him, doing all types of stuff. He has absolutely exploded on the offensive side of the rock. He's been going crazy the last month, almost pushing like 26 points a game. He's been playing.
He's been awesome.
Sensational type offensive ball.
Yep.
But I think Golden State holds on, and I think Sacramento ends up getting the 7 and loses 2 straight to probably the Lakers and then whoever is in that 8 spot. Mind you, anybody that's ever, and since the play-in's inception, anyone that's been slotted in the 10 has never made the playoffs. So that hasn't been done, and I don't think Golden State has that juice. And I know Atlanta doesn't have that juice on the east side. So keep that in mind. But if we're talking about Sacramento has to play Phoenix in a 1-game situation, give me Phoenix. And then they potentially will probably have to play the Lakers. I'm taking the Lakers and LeBron in that 1-game situation. I think the Kings have a real chance if they don't win the 6, get that 6 slot to not make the playoffs. So I'll take
worry about
Sacramento.
them against Phoenix as much, but yeah, I do worry about them against the Lakers.
In a 1-game situation, though?
I don't. Not against Phoenix, no.
Because, yeah, I mean, if you have the 7, it would be in Sacramento as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's it called? What do they do? Light the beam? Light the beam? They're going to be lighting the beam.
I don't know.
I'm not. I worry about them going against the Lakers, though.
In book in a 1-game?
Yeah.
Could get spooky.
Not an impressive team, man. Suns have not moved me at all year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. Anything else here on the NBA before we get out of here?
So where are we on MVP right now? Are we locked in on SGA? Is Jokic?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 3 out of 4. Done.
Really? No SGA love, no Luka love?
I mean, look, well, I'm just going off the number on the market. I think last I saw SGA is like all the way down to like minus 600 or something, or plus like 600 or 700. The way that I think Denver gets the 1, and that's the final factor. But Jokic's numbers and efficiency and how he has the Nuggets looking right now is too much for SGA to overcome. But SGA is out there running around with 20-year-olds, and they are the number 2 team in the West and have been sensational. So yeah.
All right, last thing I got for you. I'm gonna remove the Clippers from this, right? But Denver being the presumptive favorite out the West.
Yeah.
If one team could rock the boat out of these 4, who would it be? Mavs, Pels, Wolves, Thunder.
Mavs, Dallas.
Yeah, playing 100%. Really well.
Yeah,
got the guys. Yeah,
they got the guy.
The guy.
They got the
Kyrie. Well, and
Kyrie been going crazy.
Kyrie been playing out of his mind.
They got the boat rock. They got the boat rocker.
Bro.
In Luka Doncic, and then Kyrie has been playing crazy. And they have shown stretches of playing good defense.
Yeah.
So, like, if they could continue to play this half-court style where Luka slows it down, and then they could lock in on D, they are the boat rockers for me, potentially. But, dude, Denver has been so good. I said this yesterday on the Juice Bar, my show on MSG Network, that when we're talking team basketball, the Denver Nuggets are clearly the number 1 team, and I think number 2 is the Knicks. Every single team or every single player on the Denver Nuggets role is solidified. It's crystal clear for every one of those guys and what they're supposed to do, possession by possession, rotation by rotation. They know exactly what they need to do. And they play really good team basketball. And then on top of that, they have the MVP in Jokic. That's why they have been so good. The chemistry and the cohesion for the Denver Nuggets is sensational. And then some nights you get AG hitting baseline fadeaways. And it's like, all right, well, we could just wrap this shit up. Because if he's going to do this, they're unbeatable. So The Nuggets are in a really good spot, but if anybody could rock them, I can't see Minnesota having enough offensively down the stretch. Booker and Durant would just need to be going ballistic every single night for
every
16
night.
days in a row.
It would have to be ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah, the boat rockers would be Dallas. But comments out of Denver last year was their toughest series was against Minnesota last year.
Yeah.
So if they got to see those boys again, maybe they flat out told us that, that was the toughest out for us last year was Minnesota. Once we got through Minnesota, we didn't have too many issues.
Yeah, and I'll say this none of these teams are a walk in the park. Like, they could all beat you. You know, I've been on the Pelicans hard for a minute. I think they've got playoff experience too. Pelicans
Point
the type
Zion.
of team. Yeah, Point Zion's a different beast. In shape Zion's a different beast. You know, we've talked about Dallas. You look at Oklahoma City, obviously all year they've been great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Put it that way. It's going to be a lot of fun. I couldn't tell you the Western Conference Finals right now. I can tell you Denver will probably be involved, but it's hard to say past that. I think we're in store.
Yeah, you remove Denver, and it's essentially a coin flip throughout the rest of the West.
Coin flip, yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, that's going to do it for No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Subscribe everywhere. Tell a homie to tell a friend. Check out the YouTube page. Subscribe. Follow us on socials. All that stuff. Until next week, we'll see y'all.